This is my project for fire inventory. When you're out on location, there's not a lot to see, including Wi-Fi signals. When you have to manage your fire inventory after returning from a fire, you'll be able to quickly identify which items are running low. For example, we have 2 fire extinguishers here. That's what we're left with. We don't need to worry about that. We know that a trigger has been set for the hoses with anything less than or equal to 2. So since we only have 2 hoses left, we know that we need to update our inventory. Ideally, you'd have everything waterproofed, but since this is just a prototype, to show that it's working, we have a Raspberry Pi, a USB hub, Wi-Fi dongle, the Nova Hologram, and then a battery pack over here. So I'm going to get this started up by turning on the battery pack, plugging it in. I have a second battery pack that I'm going to use to attach to my inventory control center over here. So we have a little output on the screen that says it's starting, and the Particle Photon is set to scan for a specific Wi-Fi signal. So once it gets to a certain point, it's going to let us know that the Wi-Fi is not ready or that it's good to go, and this just jumped right in, so that means that the Raspberry Pi booted up and is working. It's broadcasting a fire signal, or excuse me, a Wi-Fi signal called fire. We've got output that says push to begin. I'll zoom in a little there. Okay, so we've got our start button over here. I'm going to press that to get started. It's loading. Our first item is a hose. I'll cycle through the ones I have in there. We have an extinguisher, as you saw earlier, and then also a helmet. I have one of those in the vehicle, but we're all set on helmets. So I'll cycle back down to hoses, and again, it's our start button that we're going to select. And let's say I put in a quantity of 4, so we'll set that now just so that we can kind of see what it looks like. Now we get a confirmation screen, the hose with a quantity of 4, yes or no. I'll say yes. Once we confirm, see we have an output of 200, which HTTP is success, and then it brings us back to our original cycle. Now what we're going to do is go through and submit a value of 2 or 1 if we only had 1 or 0. So let's get started. Okay, I automatically start at hose. That's just the first one in my array of items. We'll pick hose. Let's say I accidentally bumped to 5. Oh, no, I don't want hose at a quantity 5. I have this back button down here. So it'll take us back. So it's going to load us back up. Hose, quantity, and so we'll set that to 2 hoses, which we have there. It's going to confirm again. Status successful. And then I have my cell phone handy. So we'll just wait to see if we get should get an email from the service here in a second. And there's that email. It is a cloud@notifications.hologram.io. Fire notification. Item hose has fallen to 2 below or at its trigger of 2. So you can go through and modify this. Will keep a running inventory or quantity of the inventory that's preset. We will work on updating it so that it can receive updates, possibly even from the particle cloud. You can connect through the Nova hologram and publish new items to the Photon. It's a cloud connected device. But as for all the pieces here, one thing to note, I decided to go with a larger antenna just to get a little bit better cellular connection when you're kind of out in the wilderness. And this piece of hardware would actually probably work the best if you mounted it in your truck. You could use a voltage regulator or a converter, hook it up to your 12-volt system in your vehicle, and then you could just utilize the power in that instead of having to use one of these portable chargers. The thing you don't want is to be out somewhere and realize that you don't have a battery or your battery's dead. So you still have that same issue with a vehicle, but it's a lot less likely to happen. And with the Particle Photon, one of the cool things about most of these devices is that they can be plugged into just standard USB devices. So you can have a portable device out on the truck. Most of the time it's going to be hot outside. The cold won't suck the energy out, like if there's snow on the ground right now. You can see that one of my batteries has actually gone dead. That works well for my demonstration here. I have another battery with me. You can see it just starts up like normal. One final thing I want to show is what it looks like when you connect the photon first. You don't have the battery plugged in, so disconnect the power for the Raspberry Pi. You can see all the devices are dormant. We'll plug our Particle Photon back in, start back up. Have the message that it's starting, and it's just going to sit there and wait for a Wi-Fi signal. So since obviously there will be none, so we'll turn the battery on, plug it in, and see how long it takes. I see a little light coming up on the Nova. And there we go. So as you can see, it takes a little bit longer if you plug in the photon first, but once it establishes a connection, you're greeted with all the inventory, it rolls through, and then you're set back to the push to begin status.